Hey everyone, it's Wednesday, September 7th. I want to do a quick video on oil and gold. The last previous video I made on oil and gold, I mentioned that oil was in a pattern here. After it's set a high, it set a higher low, lower high, higher low. It defended this uptrend line here, this new uptrend line, and I mentioned previously that if it were to break trend line 1, then it would easily test trend line 2. But because it's holding, it held, it bounced. Right now, it's struggling with 45.50 and the 50 MA on the daily, which is around 45.50 to 45.55 in that 5 cent range. What I expect is if it gets above the 50 MA, is that it will go up and test this downtrend line, and a rejection there would be continuation of that pattern of setting lower highs and higher lows. Obviously, a break of one of these trends would be bearish or bullish. If it broke this downtrend, it would be a bullish move, and if it broke this trend line, it would be this trend line here would be a very bearish indicator. I also mentioned in the last video that I was watching this candle form, and I would see how this next candle would react in lieu of this candle. And what I was looking at is the high of this candle, which was 44.67, and the low 43.16. I said that if the next candle were to close above the high of this candle, then the short-term outlook would be bullish. And as you can see, that's exactly what happened. We've seen a follow-through of oil bullishness. So tomorrow inventory reports, we'll see if it can give us a push over this 50 MA and go for this downtrend line test, or if there will be a rejection at the 50 MA and we retest this trend line. And if we break down from there, we'll probably test trend line 2. Let's take a look at gold. Gold today, what I was watching for was the 1347 price range, and the reason why my eyes were on 1347 is because before the big drop in gold, I saw that 1347 was a very key price point where gold was kind of teeter-tottering back and forth. It would be support, resistance, and so I was watching it very closely today, and I saw that it held. So seeing the let's look at miners. Let's look at JNUG as a reference. Seeing miners have a pretty big dump to begin the day, I thought it was a little bit overdone with how well gold and silver were holding up, and obviously that was the gold pullback was due to dollar having a little bit of a green day today. So anyways, miners fell, and in the chat room, I was looking at the 1-hour chart first. Where'd you go? There we go. In the chat room, I was telling our members that a good entry was the miners JNUG holding this 200 MA support and defending it, and you can see decent volume there, and then some follow through. If you cut it down to a smaller time frame, what I was watching for is this right here, this 50 MA, and my bullish sentiment was going to continue if it could get above the 50 MA. And if you look at what happened right here, this is, what time is this? This is at 1:40 p.m. And let's see what happened at 1:40. At 1:40, you see that there was a huge buyer of 10,000 contracts of October 21, 32.50 calls. And right after that, you saw this big move right here on volume, on increasing volume. See decreasing volume, and then bam, increasing volume right here. And some people were scared to stay in the trade after that, still skeptical because you could see that it was selling off again, dipping down. And I noticed it was holding the 50 MA though. I mean, once it had captured it, you saw the move up, and then it was retesting this 50 MA. And my thinking was that if it held that 50 MA, I told members that I expected a push at the end of the day with buyers coming in, and you can see this explosion to the upside with all this volume. And you did see some selling off at the end of the day, but then again, bulls came again, and on really good volume, they bought up the dip. And this move was a lot bigger than I expected, but you know, I was pretty impressed by this. I did expect some push at the end of the day, so we'll see how it continues tomorrow. Gold could easily consolidate more. If we take a look at the daily again, It did break through this on this candlestick. It broke through this downtrend line that had recently formed, and it's holding it right now. And if we were to lose this downtrend line and go back under it, I expect us to test this 50 MA, which is right around 1343, 1344, around that price area. I expect it to bounce there. It could easily just form a bull flag, but that's just to be seen. Although there are, I believe, jobless claims tomorrow morning, and that could move gold to either side, up or down. So something to be aware of. But again, bulls did buy the dip in miners today, and there were some big call buyers in GDX, and I also noticed some call buying yesterday as well. So we'll see how the rest of the week finishes off. Hope everyone has a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.